Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have got several solidarity statements here from other participants who've been unable to join the stream but wanted me to pass on their sentiments to you all. So in case you struggle with my accent, I'll actually screen share and let you read their words along with me. The first letter I have here is from Patrick Henningsen, who is editor-in-chief of 21st Century Wire at 21Wire on Twitter. He says, I just wanted to say what a pleasure and honor it has been to speak and meet with so many dedicated and wonderful individuals who've given their time, talent, energy, and passion to these online vigils. This gathering and meeting of the minds has been instrumental in the proliferation of support for Julian Assange, WikiLeaks, and the defense of a free press, and also in opposing a US-led effort and junior partners to impose its own arbitrary global jurisdiction and dominion over the world's media. I was fortunate enough to muscle my way into a very small and inaccessible courtroom in London today, where a completely rigged system of justice was acting out a mind-numbing vaudeville skit, going through the motions in a pantomime of due process, where the prison, the judiciary, and political branches all applied their full court press against a defense innocent of all charges. But Julian was present, albeit via video link, and he was engaged and ready to defend himself, his name, and his organization. I am confident now that the US have no case, no real case. So I think the law, precedent, and most importantly, the people will be on Julian's side and ultimately all our side. Special thanks to Unity4J, and let's keep this fight going until we win. The next message I have here is from Dr. Nozomi Hayase. She is a long-time academic in support of Julian Assange and has authored several academic papers and a number of articles about Julian. Julian and WikiLeaks have shared her work for a number of years. She is also a participant of Unity4J. She says this is her message for our final vigil event. First of all, I am sorry that I am not able to join you all in this important event. It has been a great honor for me to be a part of Unity4J. Here, I would like to take a moment to share what Unity4J has meant to me and the things that I learned from this journey. Unity4J was real grassroots movement that brought people from different walks and political lines together for the freedom of Julian Assange. In my participation with the movement, I saw a blossoming of freedom of expression where ordinary people around the world began to exercise their right to free speech, associate with one another, and form an assembly through organizing rallies and events. Our goal was to free Julian. This single objective engaged many of us in a process of claiming our own freedom. For so long, we have been pushed out from democracy. We have been kept in the dark, being treated as ignorant masses and made to feel powerless. Before the rise of WikiLeaks, there was a huge vacuum in our democracy. We, the people who are meant to make decisions that concern every aspect of our lives, have been largely absent. Without citizens performing checks and balances of power, government's corruption and abuse of power were allowed to go on. Through his work with WikiLeaks publishing information critical for democracy, Julian empowered the public and reminded us of our own significance. With a motto of crushing bastards and nurturing the vulnerable, he fiercely defended our right to know and those who are oppressed and impoverished and ailing. Early on in the development of WikiLeaks, Julian wrote, "Every time we witness an injustice and do not act, we train our character to be passive in its presence and thereby eventually lose all ability to defend ourselves and those we love." Through his courageous actions and personal sacrifice, Julian has shown to us repeatedly that what drives his will to crush bastards is a gentle love that inspires him to nurture the vulnerable and care for one another. I saw that what gave birth to the Unity4J movement was this love, the care and concerns towards fellow human beings that Julian demonstrated. When the Ecuadorian government cut off Julian's access to the internet, denying him phone calls and visitors, supporters swiftly organized a Twitter hashtag, #ReconnectJulian. This spontaneous action of individuals organically grew into a movement, and I found strong women at the heart of it, inspiring all to participate. Julian Assange, Susie Dawson, and Elizabeth Leah Voss demonstrated courage, grace, and integrity, guiding a way through their own actions and providing examples for others to follow. This was shown in the movement's commitment to inclusiveness and acceptance of our differences in order to unify our forces for Julian's freedom. For many of us, Unity4J became a schooling of active citizenship. It provided a platform that helped us cultivate civic skills, but most importantly, the courage for us to speak truth, not only to power, but our own. As the Ecuadorian government's treatment of Julian worsened, participants for Unity4J stepped up to speak out for him. I have seen ordinary people who were previously silenced begin to assert their own voice. Through our efforts to defend his rights, we learned to say that we matter. We began to take back our power that belongs to us. One of the gifts that Unity4J has brought to me personally was that it allowed me to connect with like-minded people around the world. Some of those connections developed into friendships that could last for a lifetime. In those ordinary people who engaged in selfless service, putting in time and energy without looking for anything in return, I found hope for democracy. Emmy Butlin is one of the wonderful people I met through this effort. I find her to be a beautiful embodiment of this power of ordinary people. She has been always willing to lend her hands to fulfill whatever needs to be done without taking any credit for her work. With her quiet presence, she showed fierce courage and tenacity, bringing strength and steadiness to the movement. WikiLeaks, with the release of more than 10 million documents, not only lifted the floodgate of information, but also opened the door for democracy. Now Julian is calling for our active participation. In a letter from prison, he urged everyone to take his place. Democracy is not something that is handed down to us from presidents or prime ministers and elected officials. It is to be created through each of us coming to our own power and learning to use it responsibly. In the efforts to free Julian, democracy now asks us to step up and fulfill our role as we the people. We are the active agent for democracy. We, the public, are the only defense for Julian. The fate of our democracy is tied to Julian's future. Until he is free, we will not have democracy. So we must continue to fight until he is free.